Hi, everybody, and welcome to our beautiful event, Road to Retirement. I'm super excited to be here today to be hosting this event with these amazing people. Some of these people who I had no idea who they were just years ago, and today I get to call my friends. It's a really beautiful community that we get to work and be on the same page as one another. We support one another, and you're going to hear from them and their incredible stories shortly. My name is Elizabeth Caroso, and I'm going to share a little bit more about myself, and then I'm going to hand it over to the guys to share their amazing stories. Now, one of the things that I loved about this beautiful opportunity, as I said, is that I got to meet all these amazing people that have the same thoughts as me. We're on the same page, and we have exactly the same things that we were looking forward to. We were all looking at retirement. To some of us, it looked a little bit more scary than for others. But these beautiful people that you'll hear from shortly are all living life on their own terms. They have created a beautiful abundance in their life, and they've created something that we're going to be sharing with you, and hopefully that resonates with you so that you can possibly do the same moving forward. They've all found a beautiful abundance, as I said, in the fulfillment, and they're also living life on purpose. Now, my story, I'm 56 years old. I stumbled upon this opportunity in my 50s. I've been in this business 6.5 years now. When I looked at this, it wasn't something that I really wanted because I was very tired in my job. I was working very long hours. I was looking at retirement because when we get to 50, as most of us start to really think about what life is going to look for us when we stop working and we stop having an income. And so for me, that was something that was very scary. My husband and I had always worked very hard. We'd always worked, very hard, but we also lived a beautiful life doing the things that we love by being able to work so hard within our lives. But if you guys are like me, the baby boomer era, we were all kind of taught from the very beginning just to look for jobs, work really hard, pay the bills and be happy. We were never really taught to look for opportunities. And this is something that when it came to me, I really wasn't open to it. But I'm so grateful today that I gave it the opportunity for me to be able to look into, ask lots and lots of questions and do the proper research, because today my life looks very different. Back then, I was working 60 hours a week. My husband was a fly-in, fly-out worker. And between us, we sacrificed a lot of time in order to be able to make the money that we wanted to be able to live the life that we loved. And as I said, looking forward down the road to retirement, it was very scary for us because it meant that some things had to change. And one of the things that for many of us in this era, for us to be able to live the life that we want, we have to look at possibly maybe, in our case, for example, we would have to sell the family home in order to downsize, to release some of our equity and have a little bit of extra money. So if we weren't having an income between our super and the equity in our home, we would still be able to do the things that we love. But we always loved to travel. We loved camping and hopping in our caravan and just taking off. Now, another thing that we all know is when we work in a structured job, we also are governed by the amount of time that we get to have off. And usually it's anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks a year. So we work really hard all year to be able to have 4 or 6 weeks off once a year, and that's it. Then we're back to it. Now, for me today and for my family, life looks very different, and I am very grateful that this opportunity came to me and that I was open to looking at it, as I mentioned to you earlier, because what looked very scary for us 6 years ago is completely different today. Rather than us now having to look at selling our properties to downsize and release some equity, we were able to extend on our family home to be able to give back to others in our families that needed it. So we were able to bring my mum to live with us. We built her a self-sufficient granny flat because I could see how she struggled living on a pension, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be that person struggling after so many years of hard work. Now, we were able to bring her to live with us. She now lives independently next to us, so we're always looking in on her, but she gets to spend her pension on the money on the things that she loves. She no longer has to worry about rent and her shopping and all the things that she used to just 6 years ago. And the other thing that I'm very grateful that we were able to do was just last year we were able to semi-retire my husband. He was a fly-in and fly-out worker, and semi-retirement or retirement looked a little bit further away for us than what it did. initially we wanted to try and retire at 50, but when we got close to 50, it kind of extended out to 60 and then 65. And my husband is now 63, and it wasn't going to end at 63 or 65 for us the way life was 6 years ago. But just last year, as I said, this business has given us the opportunity for him to actually semi-retire, and he will be fully retired by the end of this year. It also gives us the beautiful freedom to drop everything when we need to, when a family needs us. Just a couple of years ago, before our borders closed, a family member was getting married overseas, and we were able to drop everything and take the business with us and go to Canada and be at that beautiful family wedding. Now, you can't just do that with any job, but let alone when we're looking at retirement. Today, retirement is something that excites me and inspires me to share with everybody, because this opportunity, you can really make it whatever you want to make. And one thing I would love for you to think about while watching these beautiful stories that you're about to hear is have a think about whether retirement is exactly what it was for you when you thought about it years ago. Are you nearly there, and is it looking the way you expected it to look? Do you feel comfortable with how retirement is going to look for you once you give up your job and either take out your super or make the changes you need to live life on your terms? And do you have the freedom to drop everything at whenever it is that you're needed, and you get to called out to be with family or friends or wherever else you're needed? My children are all grown up and they've left the home. They're all scattered around Australia. So I'm very fortunate that I just get to drop whatever I'm doing and be there with them whenever we need to. Today, like I said, life for us looks very different. And I don't tell you this to impress you, but I tell you this for you to know that there is an opportunity for you to live life at your fullest as possible. And these beautiful people that I'm going to introduce to you are going to give you their stories shortly too. Now, enough about me. I'm going to hand it over to lovely Greg, who's a very good friend of mine that we've met a couple of years ago through this business. Him and Denise, beautiful couple who I get to call my friend. So I'll hand it over to you now, Greg.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And what a beautiful segue to our event. I love listening to your story and having hubby home. What a great outcome that's been for you guys. So my name's Greg Whelan. I'm a qualified national marketing director. We've been in the company for just over 5 years. So I'll take you back a short story to 2016. I'd lived in the Northern Territory for 43 years. I'd worked in an aluminum refinery up there for 36 years. And one foul swoop, they shut the refinery down, and 1,000 people, which was about a quarter of the town's population, lost their job, and they all had to leave the town, which I really called my home because I went there when I was 11. So we went to Gladstone in central Queensland. I got some more work for 20 months. My partner at the time, Denise, was a high school teacher, and we'll get to her story a little bit later. I won't steal all her thunder. But yeah, I worked in a refinery again for 20 months and got the flick for the second time in 2 years. And at age 56, I thought, that'll do. I didn't want to go FIFO. I could have worked in New Guinea. I could have gone to Dubai. I could have gone to West Australia. And I thought, enough's enough. You know, how long's a piece of string and how much do you need? So I've been fortunate enough to put a few dollars away and had enough for retirement. So it was retirement for me. And so I'd pack Denise's lunch every morning when she went off to school. Little did I know I wasn't very good at that job either, but that's another story for another day. And cleaned the pool and walked the dog and played golf badly. And after a couple of months, to be perfectly honest, I was bored. I thought that after 38 years in a good job, that retirement would be all the splendid things that who knows what we would do. So funnily enough, Denise was scrolling on Facebook one day and saw a post about a travel tribe thing and decided to join a network marketing company. Like, why would you do that? I don't know. I had no interest. She jumped on board, but she did say to me that I want you to be my guinea pig on the products. And like a good partner, I'd had high cholesterol for 10 years, old footy knees, inflammation. I said, right, chuck all the rubbish in the bin that didn't work, and I would start on the product. So we started very, very slowly until we got my blood results back after 4 months. And lo and behold, we had magnificent results. We were blessed, and we could put our hand on our heart and say, this will do us, and we can go out to people and share our story. So Denise was still going to school. I bought 6 whiteboards at home because I love numbers, and I'd put all the numbers on the board and talk to everyone every day. And hopefully when Denise got home from school at the end of the day of wrangling the grade 9s, I hadn't done too much damage to the business. So we absolutely didn't know what we were doing, but we had great support. And I'll let Denise tell the story, but that year life changed dramatically. So back to just my story. This is something that gets me out of bed probably well before the alarm clock. We're on 5 o'clock Zooms every morning, but I got juice plus brain damage, unfortunately, or actually fortunately, because it gives me a reason and purpose to get out of bed every day. Like I said before, I love the numbers, but more importantly, it's about the people and the journey that you get to share. So we have had over 500 people join our team in the short time we've been in. But more importantly, we've had a lot of fantastic people that have honoured our commitment to them and shared their stories with us. Some very, very tough, but our goal and our gift is to pay the gift that we got forward and to help them on their journey to achieve their goals. And that's a beautiful thing when you can see people light up and reach their potential. So for me, it's about the community. The travel has been fantastic. We did go, Liz talked about it before, we got to spend some quality time with some quality people down at the Byron Bay retreat recently. We just spent a weekend down on the Gold Coast. We've been to New Zealand, we've been to England, been to the European conference in Barcelona in front of 10,000 people, which seemed a hell of a lot considering I lived in a town for 43 years of 4,000 people. So that was a magnificent experience. I think for me, the main thing is really, we walk our dog Charlie on the beach every day. And I said to Denise recently, I asked her, sorry, what have you got on today? And she said, I've got a number of calls booked, but you know, the best thing is we're going to meet people and we have no idea who they are and what their stories are going to be. And it's like, it's not a closed book retirement now. It's every day is a new page. And it just refreshes us every day, to be perfectly honest, you know. Denise is upstairs, I'm down here. I hear her go, wow, about 8 times a day. And it's a new story, a new person that's reached out. And we just love it. I could not ever envisage that at age 56, I'd be doing a network marketing gig and loving it so much. So the money allows us to do things. It gives, like money does, it gives you choices to do, things to do. But more importantly for us, it's a passion. And as long as I'm above the ground, I'll be doing it for the rest of my life. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'm going to hand it upstairs to Denise.
That was so cool. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Elizabeth. So many points that you made just resonated so much with me, and I'm sure with so many other people listening. And Greg, you know, we do get to do this business every day together, and it's such a blessing in our life in so many different ways. So I am Denise. You've heard my name mentioned a couple of times already. I came into this business 5.5 years ago. I was 52 at the time. I was a health and physical education teacher, cruising along, doing my own thing, thinking that in another 8 years I could pick up my superannuation at the age of 60, slide into retirement, living that dream life that we all think about the retirement's going to look like. But the reality was that I actually didn't work when my kids were young. So my superannuation was not as big and healthy as what I was maybe thinking my retirement would look like. I was also and still am an empty nester of 3 grown-up kids who are all off doing amazing things. And I would love to ask you this question. Who else, and I hope it's not just me, has felt a sense of loss when your kids have left home and maybe you're kind of coming towards the end of your career, or maybe looking at maybe your kids leaving home sometime soon? Put your hand up if that's you, if you felt a sense of loss and go, what's next? What is my purpose going to be after I've finished raising my family, after I have finished working in my career? What is actually going to be next for me? And this business just literally showed up in my life, just came randomly across it, and I definitely wasn't looking. But something in my mind was curious enough to want to find out more. So I did get my questions answered, and I'll talk about some of those questions that I had in a moment. But the other couple of things that happened at that time, and Greg mentioned it already, one thing was that Greg was made redundant for the 2nd time in 3 years. And I think you'll all agree that we've all had to make so many pivot turns and changes in our plans over the last few years, especially the last couple of years. And nothing is guaranteed, nothing is certain in our future. The other thing that happened at that time was my dad passed away of early onset dementia. Now, I went to a seminar, and I've actually got something here I'm going to show you. I went to a seminar, and we were given the task to draw up a grid of 80 squares, which is what the average life expectancy in Australia is. So I had to cross off all the squares that I'd had, and back then it was 54. So this is what my grid looks like now. I'm actually now 57, and they are all the squares that I've been able to cross off my grid. Now, it looks like a patchwork because that's what life is like. Okay, we have great years, we have challenging years as our families grow, as life happens around us, and that's just what makes life so fun and enjoyable. We have to have the dark and the light. Okay, but when you look at those squares and look at the ones that you've already had, you go, okay, how am I going to spend the ones that I have left? Okay, they're diminishing year after year, and none of us know how many squares we will actually get. So that was an epiphany for me. How am I going to spend the years that I have left, or the squares that I have left, living my best life in my true values? Now, my highest values are my family, and my other highest value is time. So when I was looking at this business, a beautiful lady that I reached out to asked me what I would love more of in my life. And the thing was time to spend with my family, like Elizabeth was saying earlier as well. So I thought, this looks amazing, but there are certainly some things, because I was a teacher, I'd never run a business, I didn't know anything about network marketing, and I needed some questions answered. So one of them was the company. Is this company bulletproof? Is it something that's going to be around for a really long time? If I'm going to put my time and my effort into building something that's going to, be something that's going to change my life into the future, I need to know that the company's bona fide. Our company has been around for over 50 years with the same leadership team. They've been through multiple financial crises, financial downturns, and they still are here building stronger and better than ever. They're in we're getting close to 30 countries around the world, which is exciting to be able to build a global business, which is just wonderful. Our owners in Australia are just the most amazing people as well. The other thing I needed to look at was the product that we were representing. If you're going to build a business, you need a world-class product, and we're going to hear a bit more about our products later on. But for me as a health teacher, our products make such good sense. It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and who does not need more of that? Okay, so I'll leave the products for the moment. Our products are things that people need. Fruits and veggies are never going out of fashion, and I'll leave it up to Taku to tell you more, like I said. Our leadership team here in Australia and overseas are world-class. We have so much personal and professional development, and it's given to us all for free. So as a teacher, I was always doing professional development, but the development personally that I've had inside this business as an adult learner, and I think I'm a lifelong learner, which I love, the learning opportunities and growth have been absolutely amazing. And of course, the compensation plan. We do this because we love it, but we also need to get paid in this space. The other question I'd love to ask you is, do you know when enough money is enough to actually say yes to retirement? That was something that was always on my mind. Okay, we grow up with this concept, like Liz said, about jobs, not opportunities. And we also have this concept about there's a finite amount of money, and when is that enough? So for me, it was superannuation. Is there enough superannuation for me to live that life of retirement on that finite amount? And a lot of people go, I can't retire yet because I don't know how much money I'm going to need for how many squares I have left. So I want to talk about our compensation plan, which is so abundant. There is no ceiling on it, and it will just go on and on and on. There's recurring money coming in. So when I was teaching, I only got paid one way. It was once a fortnight. Once I hit the glass ceiling in teaching as far as wage goes, and after 10 years, that's as far as you can go, unless you go into those other leadership roles, which I did, but they kind of had strings attached as well with the amount of time that they took. But with our business, we actually get paid 3 different ways, and I'm just going to touch really quickly on them. So the first one is retail profit, and that is when we connect our products to our customers. We cut out the middleman. We are the people that are doing the work, and the company goes, you are the ones that are doing the work, and we're going to pay you directly. We don't hold any stock. Our warehouse is in Newcastle, so our beautiful home office team look after our accounts. They look after the shipping straight to our customers, and we get paid for connecting our products to people. I love that. The next way is bonuses. Now, as a teacher, I definitely did not get paid any bonuses. Sometimes I've heard people might get a Christmas ham, but as a teacher, definitely no bonuses. And the money that was coming in was definitely not proportional to the hours that I was spending doing that. So our company bonuses are so generous. We start from $100 up to $15,000, and there's actually literally over $125,000 available to us over the journey of our time inside the company. We call that the fun money because we like to spend that spoiling ourselves and doing those treats that sometimes. I was speaking to a lady yesterday who's looking at retirement as well. She's saying, I don't know how to treat myself. There is nothing left out of my wage after raising my family and working for so long that is left in the coffers to actually treat myself. So I love this concept. And the third one is my favourite. This is what we call the residual income. So this is the money that lands in your bank while you're sleeping, that could be building on the other side of the world if you build a global business. And when you build an organisation, the company, you actually unlock a percentage of your whole organisation, and the company pays you the money in this residual way. So the thing I love about it the most is because this is a legacy company and this is a legacy business, the business that I build today, I can actually leave in my will to my children and my grandchildren. Now, I'm about to expect my daughter's expecting our first grandchild. And I also know that Elizabeth is about to have her first grandchild as well. And the joy of being able to build something now that we can leave to them is just sets my heart on fire every single day. So we get paid on the 10th of each month. And that money is going to land in my bank account for the rest of my life. I don't have to worry about my superannuation. I may never have to touch it. I might leave that to my children as well, or I might just go and splurge it, who knows. But I know that my abundance and my income is going to keep on growing, which is just a concept that's so cool. The other thing is that people, maybe in our age, I'm speaking to the baby boomers here, feel like, how can I build a business when I don't know if I know enough people? I really don't want to bother my friends and family. But what I found was that when we've been living for as long as we have in many different places, maybe even in the same place, we've had lots of different roles. We've been mums, we've been dance mums, we've been footy coach dads, we've been, we've had sporting teams, all those kind of things. Our network is actually really big when we get to this age of our life. So what I found when I started posting on social media, not more new skills as baby boomers that we might be able to pass on to you, I started my business. Okay, I started my business, so this is me. And I had no idea what I was doing, but my hand was held every step of the way. And then I started sharing what I was loving about the products, loving about the business, and people started to get curious. And I started reconnecting with people from my past, which was amazing. So my very first person, he's already mentioned it, was Greg, who sort of said, let's do this together. We're loving the products. Let's jump on and build a business together. So he was my very first believer. And then I had a friend called Taku, who was over actually in Timor at the time. So she was living in Timor. She was looking at what I was up to, and she said, tell me more, and she excitedly joined us as well. An old school friend of mine, her name is Andrea. We weren't that close at school, but we hadn't seen each other for 38 years. She was down in Tasmania. She was looking at what I was doing, and she said, please tell me more. I need to know what you're doing because it looks like you're having lots of fun, and I would love to jump on board as well. And more recently, in fact, 1 year ago today, a gorgeous lady called Fauzia is from Kuala Lumpur, and she moved to Australia. And when she moved to Australia, she was in her late 50s. And she was very well educated. She had a really highly paid job in Malaysia, but she just couldn't find any opportunities in Australia. So she reached out to me. We actually connected on social media as well. So social media is an amazing way to meet people. And now Fauzia, who's on this call today as well, she actually reached out to all her ex-university friends, her childhood friends, and now she is building a business in Malaysia that is going absolutely nuts. So all of these people have all reached out to other people. I've reached out to some more people. And this is what we call the popcorn effect. It's not about who you know. It's about who all the other people know as well and keep building on. So this has given me absolute purpose beyond my work in the past and my family. As we get older, it's really even as important, if not more important, that we keep really healthy, that we have an active body and we have a really happy mind, and a purpose. So that's our soul. And it's also, you know, about creating experiences and that time. So I'm now going to pass on.
Thanks, that was awesome. It's amazing the beautiful people that, whoops, unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Just really lovely sitting here listening to all you awesome people with such great advice to everybody at this kind of age. I'm actually 68. I'll be 69 in about 12 weeks' time. And, you know, this product and the opportunity is absolutely life-changing. I'm just so pleased I got involved. For those of you out there watching this who may know me, I've always been vibrant, happy, healthy, positive, ambitious, motivated, living life to the fullest. I was always involved in some kind of business. I had a couple of conventional businesses, but in the last 21 years or 24 years since I've been in Australia, I've got involved in a few different wonderful product companies and been flying around doing product seminars, trainings, business seminars and so on with some new health or beauty product that I found beneficial to me, and of course chasing my dreams at the same time. I've managed to pay off my property through direct sales. I've had a good life. I've had several new cars, a couple of Harley Davidsons, lots of overseas trips, so it is a great industry. But I'm here to talk about the product. So, you know, we don't always know what life's going to throw at us, but over the years, I've always had to battle with my weight. It's always fluctuated by about 10 kilos. So I've tried so many different protein shakes over the years, absolutely destroying my gut to the extent I ended up with irritable bowel syndrome and diverticulitis. So I had to watch everything that I ate. I know every public loo on the Gold Coast, and it was some embarrassing times. To the extent where I had to give up what I was doing because I was petrified to stand on a stage in case I had to run for my life. Not very nice. I used to get cramping, bloating, all sorts of problems with my gut. But none of us know what's around the corner, and other things happen, unfortunately. I was happy and healthy. 6 years ago, I collapsed at work, and it turned out after an ambulance trip to Gold Coast Uni Hospital, I had a brain aneurysm in behind my right eye. That's been monitored for those 6 years, and just over a year ago, 18 months ago, I had a stent put in my head, which wasn't very pleasant, so a bit of time in ICU getting over that. And then on the 4th of March last year, I collapsed at work, I lost my vision, had another ambulance ride and had a blood clot stuck in my stent. So we don't know what's around the corner, and sometimes it's better we don't. Now, as if that wasn't enough, in the middle of all that, one day I lay down by the swimming pool, and unfortunately my daughter had come home that day, and I screamed out to her, "I can't move." She came out and said, "Have you had a stroke?" And I said, "No, I think a football team just ran over me. I feel like every bone in my body is suddenly broken. I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened." Well, long story short, it was painful to get in and out of bed, even just to roll over. I felt like I had a concrete post as a thigh that had been wired to me with number 8 wire. It was just the worst possible feeling. It's the only way I can describe it. But went and saw lots of specialists. It took about 5 months for them to diagnose me with an autoimmune disease, which can hit you just like that. It's PMR for short, which is polymyalgia rheumatica, if you want to write that one down. It just means lots of muscles that ache if you look it up. But anyway, I'm not into pharmaceutical drugs or painkillers, so I use some natural magic oil that I used to get just over the border, and that certainly helped. It was the only thing, but we went caravanning. We've been all around Australia in our caravan, building a business before social media, and we just wanted to do that again. But for me to climb in now the caravan and go away when it was cool was a nightmare. July a couple of years ago, we were just out in the scenic rim, and my partner had to keep getting out of bed and boil the kettle on the gas stove to fill up my hot water bottle and make me a hot drink because I was frozen stiff. We had to come home in the end because I was in so much pain. But anyway, the good news, that's enough gloom and doom. My daughter came home and introduced me to the Juice Plus products about 15 months ago, I think. So I tried them as a customer. Then October, I was feeling so good, so much energy, vitality, just sleeping better, my hair, nails and skin was improving. Everything was feeling great. So I made a decision on 1st of October to put in a big order and decide to do the business. So look, our health is our wealth. Without our health, it sucks. Life sucks, seriously. So health and wealth, the two most important things out there. We have a health crisis right now. People are worried sick about their immune system and looking for ways to strengthen it. And, you know, our whole foods, they can be stored. We're never going to run out of food. And we all need a residual income. I've had one and I've had a wonderful life because of one. I didn't think I'd ever do any more direct sales or network marketing ever again because I completely lost my confidence and I've been a recluse for the last few years. So I'm out. I'm feeling awesome. 69 party coming up. I'll be really celebrating that because I honestly haven't felt this good since I can't remember when. So please take a look at it. Do yourself a favour. We only have one body. You wouldn't put crappy oil in your expensive cars. So make sure you put the best nutraceuticals you can find into your body. And I highly recommend Juice Plus. So I'm going to hand over now to Elizabeth.
Wow, thank you so much, Liz. I had not heard your story before. It was amazing. Thank you guys, all of you, for sharing. I hope all of you were inspired by all these amazing people as much as I have been. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope that you had some questions answered. If you haven't, I would urge you to please reach out to the person who has invited you along to our recording today or who has sent you a copy of this for you to watch. If they've done that, it's because they care about you and they want to extend the beauty of what we're experiencing with you. One thing I want to just touch on is this amazing business is uncapped in age. It's uncapped in the amount of money you can make. It's uncapped in whatever walk of life you come from. You can have simple people, working class people to academics in this. We have young people from as soon as they're of an legal age, they can join this business and make success out of this. There's no end in sight. If you've got as much energy as beautiful Liz has, you can continue on. One of our most amazing upline mentors, she is in her 70s and she's been a part of this business for over 30 years. It's a credible company. It's a company with heart. And it's a beautiful way to live your life. The only variable in this business once you start it is yourself. You are unlimited and uncapped in what you can create with it. One of the things I want to leave you with is ask questions, reach out and have a look at this because it gives you a beautiful gift. And being able to live the time that you have left or the time that you were gifted with security, choices and purpose is something that is really, you can't put a price on that. So I hope you've enjoyed the stories from all of these beautiful people, and I hope that we see you in our beautiful community coming in to be a part of this shortly. Have a great day. Thank you.